game 4 of day 1. And the Rhinos have got Brent Webb back at fullback. Then it's Lee Smith, Brett Delaney, Keith Senior and Ryan Hall, Danny Maguire and Rob Burrow. That's their first choice back line. Up front, Jamie Peacock starts, so does Danny Badiris and Ryan Bailey. It's Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Ian Kirk in the second row, Kevin Sinfield is the skipper and loose forward. And on the bench, it's Matt Diskin, Luke Burgess, Luke Ambler and Chris Clarkson. Youngster there for coach Brian McLennan. Now the Wildcats, it's Aaron Murphy at fullback, Damien Blanche, Sean Gleeson, Jason Dimitriou the skipper, and Luke George, Ben Jeffries and Sam Obst. The forwards, Michael Korkidas, Tavita Leolatu, Paul King, Dale Ferguson, Paul Johnson and Kevin Henderson. They've suffered a blow here just immediately before the match because Danny Kermond has been ruled out as forward, so Henderson comes off the bench to play at the back of the scrum, and so that means that Dale Morton will play off the bench. It's Kyle Bibb, Dale Morton, James Davey and Richard Moore for coach John Keir. So the Wildcats, they're all ready. They beat Leeds 28-18 at Bellevue on February the 14th. But John Keir points out it'll be a vastly different side that he puts out here today from the one that claimed their first ever home Super League win against the Rhinos, who will be led out by Kevin Sinfield. This is the climax then of Rugby League's longest day. Leeds 9th, Wakefield 8th. The winners will be confirmed in the top 8.
Certainly a big ask, Eddie, in regards to Wakefield, but their coach John Keir is a crafty man indeed. He would have watched the video of Leeds being absolutely pummeled last week by the St. Helens forwards, but do Wakefield possess the strong enough pack to go down the middle against the Rhinos? Brian McLennan would have been fully aware of the fact that the forwards did not lay the platform. And there is Kevin Henderson that's just come off the bench. It's a bitter blow. Danny Kermond is ruled out just before this game kicks off. It's so important that the Wildcats get off to a very, very strong start. And I really expect this, Eddie, to be a little bit more lively within the forwards. There's not much love lost between these two sides.
Well, the Leeds Rhinos have won all 3 previous Magic fixtures that they've played in, but they find themselves with a record of just 5 wins and a draw from 12 games so far. Hulkingston Rovers, by the way, they also have won all 3 Magic weekend fixtures that they have played in as well, and they face a very stern test in the final match tomorrow against St. Helens. Remember that Leeds lost just 6 all the way through last year as they claimed the League Leaders' Shield and then the title. They arrive in Scotland after that 41-20 beating by St. Helens, and Kevin Sinfield gets the game underway, the Wakefield Wildcats rather gets the game underway here, and Ryan Bailey will drive the ball forward on the first tackle of this match. It's Leeds who have first use of the ball here in this final match. Peacock to his feet, plays the ball to Danny Badiris. This now is Jamie Jones-Buchanan. John Keir, when he announced his team 24 hours ago, said that the Wildcats had, well, they trained really well all week. They were really looking forward to it because many of their youngsters, many of their team, they will never play on a stage that is bigger than this Murrayfield. And that is incentive enough, he believes, so they might be able to claim, well, their second win of the season against the champions. That would be a real story.
Well, they always seem to lift their game, don't they? And I must say that they've started out pretty positive. It's been good defence, but that's a fine kick into the corner.
It's collected by Luke George over there on the far side. The chasers have arrived, though, for the Rhinos. Delaney and Maguire pulling George to ground. And this now is Aaron Murphy. Second tackle of this first set of 6 with the ball in the possession of the Wildcats. That's Kevin Henderson who played the ball there. He's just in the side, as I say.
Beautiful dummy.
Well, John Keir, as I say, he said his men trained so well this week and they were looking forward to the challenge. And Ben Jeffries, at one end we get Leeds with a try, chalked off by the video referee, and from the very next attack and on the back of a penalty, Ben Jeffries over for the first Wakefield try. Ben Jeffries, he began the season with a try against Harlequins and one against Leeds in February.
It was the Keith Senior penalty that they gave him away, and he just shimmied right the way through. I think it's Ryan Bailey that fails to get to him. That wasn't the best attempt. Take nothing away from this man. Ben Jeffries, he's got the experience as well. He just dipped the shoulder. It was enough for the forward to come out, and he took full advantage of that.
Well, Ben Jeffries is the man who's going to try and improve his own try here. There's a little bit of a council of war going on behind the posts, or at least behind the goal line for the Leeds Rhinos. You know, when you think about this Magic Weekend, if there is an element of a cup tie, this is it today, because we have Leeds battling to get in the 8, Wakefield in 8th place, and, well, if Leeds win, they go above Wakefield. Wakefield win, as I say, they open up this 3-point gap. And Ben Jeffries has added the extra 2. It's Leeds 0, it's Wakefield 6.
Well, full credit to this man. Do the dummy and watch how Bailey comes out of the line. If you're going to do that, you've got to make sure that you get that collision. He failed to do that. And this standoff, Ben Jeffries, has turned the stadium upside down with Wakefield 6. What a great start for the Wildcats.
Corkinas with a big drive from the kick-off. Let's go down to Bill on the side.
Eddie, you're wondering what happened to Danny Kerman. Well, the word from the Wakefield Wildcats camp was that he went into back spasm in the warm-up out on the adjoining training fields outside Murrayfield here, and had to pull out right at the last minute. Kevin Henderson, who travelled as 18th man, getting a very late call-up into the starting side.
Well, so far it hasn't affected them, the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Ben Jeffries, by the way, doesn't usually kick goals. That's about the 8th successful kick he has put in a career spanning more than 200 appearances. So they're trying to replace and find the Danny Brough element, aren't they? And Ben Jeffries is the man who today has so far provided. That's a spiralling bomb from him. It's very well claimed, though, by Brent Webb.
Good chase. Nice tackle by Ops as well. Putting themselves about. Ops trying to get involved yet again.
Lovely scampering little run from Burrow.
Going back to that try that Jeffries has just scored, Brian McLennan will be not too impressed with the way that Bailey came out of that line. That's an enormous gap.
And Lee Smith disappears under the challenge of Paul King, the sub in Hull's 2005 Challenge Cup win against Leeds at Cardiff, of course. Paul King relishes the opportunity to put one over on the Yorkshire Millionaires if he possibly can. Sinfield gingerly to his feet.
Yeah,
this is Maguire.
Picked up a knock on there. I must say, though, that why on earth is a man like Kevin Sinfield taking up the ball like a prop forward? He's a creative player. You don't utilise him as a workhorse.
Well, Leeds' defeat last week at St Helens halted a run of 4 unbeaten. That was their best run of the season so far. But they're desperate for the victory here. Still half of the season to go, of course. It wouldn't be a completely lost cause if they did fall to Wakefield today, but a 3-point gap, and outside the 8, it's uncharacteristic.
And a couple of worrying signs for the Leeds Rhinos. We've just seen Kevin Sinfield then leaping back into the limping, shall I say, back into the line of play, whilst Danny Maguire was limping out of it on the other side of the field.
This is Ian Kirk. That's a tremendous run from him. He bounced off one and he got as far as the next 2 in.
One of the differences that Leeds have made, though, strategically to last week is starting with Danny Maguire, the number 9 who just intercepted that ball. Will there be any difference here now with him in the beginning phase rather than disking? Good pass out wide there to Sinfield.
Indeed, and Sinfield with a little drop of the shoulder, he goes inside Paul King, but the reinforcements were there in the shape of Dale Ferguson, who managed just to put the lead skipper off. And on the bounce, it gets its way untidily to Brent Webb.
There's a problem also for the little scrum half, Rob Barrow.
Here is Senior. Strength from Keith Senior, his 330th appearance rather for Leeds tonight. Burrow's kick is poor, straight into the arms of Sam Obst.
Nice little run as well. As I say, just had attention just before he put that kick in, and that silly play.
Ryan Hall, he had a second push and then he had a third. There's the second. And there's the third.
You know, the lack of discipline sometimes with these professional players really surprises me. I know that they can get nervous and the tension is building up. It's a big day for them, but they've got to concentrate all the time.
The emphasis, Mike, really is to control the tackle. If the player loses collision, they really do get tempted to go back on and squeeze just to try and slow the play of the ball down a fraction and invariably get it wrong.
Leolatu again finds Paul King. He stands in the initial challenge from Bailey, but goes down under the pressure of the next man in, that was Jamie Peacock. Jeffries, and movement then from Kevin Henderson. Leolatu again, centre field for Wakefield in this Leeds half. They're really taking the game to the champions, aren't they?
They certainly are, and the combination of Jeffries and Sam Obst at the half-back positions. They're working well.
Again.
Jeffries got away.
Gets it to Leolatu. He ducks under one challenge. Gets it then out. And a great tackle by Sinfield to hold Aaron Murphy. This is the last here for Wakefield. Back he comes to Jeffries. Ball floated out wide looking for Damien Blanche. Blanche has got it. And Blanche will go underneath the posts and put the ball down for Wakefield's second try. The referee hasn't given it yet. He wants to hand it upstairs again to video referee Phil Bentham.
Well, this shoe perhaps is looking for the offside. I think he's okay. And he certainly doesn't interfere, Rob Barrow. But it was a good pinpoint kick, wasn't it? He could see that the injured Rob Barrow had drifted out into the wing position. There's a difference in size and height, and boy, doesn't Blanche make it so simple. He's going for the football. It's anybody's ball there, and you can see that Barrow is walking down. I don't think Blanche should be... This has got to be a try, surely.
Well, Blanche isn't the tallest player in the Wakefield side, but he's head and shoulders taller than Rob Barrow. Didn't look anything wrong with it, and the try is given. And it's behind the sticks, the kick to come, and Wakefield are going to be 12-0 up in a minute. Well, an unbelievable start. Damien Blanche, the Irish international, tries in all 4 of the last league and cup games for Wakefield. They've all been lost as well.
But this is smart thinking there from Ben Jeffries. He can see that they've had to push Rob Barrow because he's not fully fit. Picked up a knock just a few seconds before this, and they have paid the price. Maybe they should have done the substitution a little bit earlier. They are doing that now, but it's a little bit too late. Jeffries is going to add the extra 2, surely.
Damien Blanche, he picked the ball off the fingertips of Rob Barrow, who immediately is leaving the field injured. Chris Clarkson has come on in his place, and Ben Jeffries, from bang under the sticks, is going to make it 12-0. It is. The champions trailing at Murrayfield.
It's always a risk when you put an injured player out there. They didn't have the opportunity to substitute, but Blanche has made sure he got the height, he got the snaffle, and he had the wherewithal to go right underneath. Make it easy for the conversion. 12-0. It's been a day of shocks so far.
Well, we had the first 2 as shocks, the last one wasn't, but this could be the biggest of them all. There's a long way to go yet. We're not a quarter of an hour into the match. Down to Bill, news of Barrow.
Yeah, it's not good news for the Leeds Rhinos as well, because Rob Barrow we saw getting treated on the field, and it looks like the left knee that's the problem. He's being manipulated at the moment, really down on the sidelines, and down is just the mood it seems to be in the Leeds camp, and just a little bit at the moment after the start they'd had. Thought they got the perfect start. Barrow, though, the try disallowed. Now he's on the sidelines.
Yes, an amazing opening quarter of an hour to this, the 4th match of this Magic weekend. And just a word or two about the crowd in here today. I said right at the start of the event that if they were still here come the start of this match, the crowd would be really, really brave, because it's a chilly old day here in Scotland's capital. But the crowd has stayed with this event right the way through from start to finish. People have moved in, people have moved out, of course. And there is a second day to come tomorrow, and needless to say, plenty of tickets Plenty of seats available if you fancy coming along, and if you fancy taking a look at Super League in the Roar up here in Scotland. It's a tremendous occasion.
Certainly is, and they've got value for money as well. We've had some sensational rugby league football.
More here from Badeiras, a great scampering run from dummy half.
They needed something like that. He will lead the way, but they've got to make sure that they keep this ball alive. Kick to the corner.
Looking for the big man out there. It's dropped, but I think they have managed to ground that ball, and it will be a goal line dropout. They have Dimitri to the rescue. Luke George, had he claimed this, it would have been a tap on the 20. But that's a flick back by Lee Smith.
Good play by Smith as well. You could see he deliberately knocks it through, and then Luke George just loses possession. And Dimitri very, very quick indeed.
Well,
Goal line dropout.
There's a very good reason, Eddie, why the Leeds Rhinos are the champions. They hold their nerve more than anyone else over the past 2 or 3 years under pressure. They're under it at the moment, some worrying signs on them previous sets. Injuries to the key three.
And what's more, they've now coughed up the football, and Ben Jeffries has got it back for Wakefield. Well, they're slightly out of kilter this year in Super League, the Leeds Rhinos, aren't they? You know, a lot of people are wondering whether, given their erratic start to the league season, whether they are distracted by the chance of getting to Wembley this year. They've not been down to the Wembley final, the final at Wembley, for 11 years. And people think that they are hell-bent on getting there this year. It would be a shame if they do that at the expense of getting back to Old Trafford.
Well, I don't think they're thinking that way, Eddie. It's mainly due to the fact that they're proud champions, have been there and been the champions for 3 years on the trot. But they're going to have to lift their game if they want to have any idea of going back to Old Trafford.
That wasn't the best kick from Wakefield. Brent Webb was able to pick it up easily, and then was almost wheelbarrowed forward about 6 or 7 metres by the Wakefield defenders. But they're really getting stuck in, Wakefield, aren't they?
They certainly are, and they really want this. They're up for it. And it's a little bit reminiscent of last week, and they've lost possession yet again, though it looks as though it's been stolen.
I think what we've seen in the first half of this season, Eddie, is more sides take it to Leeds when they've played them. Really ask them. They've been the champions for 3 years, okay, and they've lifted, and that's made life more difficult for Leeds here. Life's a bit easier with the penalty that they've been awarded. But it's a great test here now, a quarter of the way through this match, 12 points down that they wouldn't have expected in their minds, to work their way back into it. Rob Burrow has had a small injury, and they're playing against an aggressive, pumped-up team.
Clarkson gets to his feet and plays the ball. Here is Jamie Jones Buchanan. That's the second tackle. Shouts the referee, Thierry Alibert. Good run from Maguire. Johnson was in there very quickly. So too was Sean Gleeson. Badeiras feeds Bailey.
And again, strong defence by the Wildcats.
Yeah, the Wildcats have conceded a penalty, though. 3 yards away from their own line. King was entangled with Ryan Bailey.
Bailey did well. He realised that King was off balance, so he just strode through, knew he would get the penalty.
This is Peacock.
Shimmy from Badeiras. Will he go on his own?
This now is Maguire. He gets it to Kirk, and Kirk is a big man, but they managed to hold him the right side of the try line. Badeiras waits for the Rhinos. Scampers away, pops the ball up then for his captain, Kevin Sinfield. They repel the borders for 3 tackles, have the Wildcats. It's with Peacock.
Whoa,
Peacock,
that's obstruction, there'll be a penalty. Oh no! Looked at, he raised the arm, did Thierry Alibert.
Badeiras again, fires the pass back to Maguire, gets the kick in, the ball bounces everywhere. The touch judge is on over on the far side.
Looks like someone was taken out.
The penalty to Leeds.
Well, the optimistic Leeds fans may have shouted for a penalty try there, Eddie. The kick did go through, and a man was taken out.
Bailey will drive it in again for Leeds. This is sustained pressure from the champions. Trailing 12-0, looking to get back in the match. Maguire and Webb and Senior and Hall, they must be in. Oh, the corner post has gone over. The referee's happy, though, in consultation with his touch judge. And Ryan Hall has got the champions up and running at last. He made his Leeds debut, this fellow, on Magic Weekend in Cardiff in 2007. and he ran in 2 tries last year in the victory against the Catalan Dragons for Brian McLennan. Ryan Hall, the try scorer. Champions are on the board.
Just shows you what quick hands can do, and it certainly flicked across. Here's the kick. There's the obstruction. He was held back. Luke George was the culprit. You can see the touch heads on at that point, and then they just hit the quick hands right across the line. And this is wonderful stuff from Senior. Just drags them across. Nothing they could do about it. Such a big frame. The winger Ryan Hall. You could see that the winger had come out of his pocket.
Yes, Ryan Hall, he's got a phenomenal try-scoring record. 56 tries now. This is his 70th appearance for the Rhinos. And Kevin Sinfield has got a pretty good record with the boot as well. Almost 2,500 points now for Kevin Sinfield. 27 goals this season. It stays at 27 goals this season. But importantly for Leeds, they have actually got over the whitewash. 12-4 Wakefield.
It's always a big problem. There you see Damien Blanche circled. He's come right out of his pocket. And as soon as Senior got this, he knew that he'd squeeze him in the corner. Great try, but John Keir will not be impressed with the way that Blanche came out away from the whitewash.
Mike, remember back to the game, I think Hull versus Harlequins, and we said about that tackle from Will Sharp. Come flying in and took out Craig Hall. It's a matter of fractions and inches, isn't it? He made that one. Blanche attempted the same thing, got it wrong, scored in the corner.
Deep kick off into the arms of the try scorer Ryan Hall. Well, that will at least give the champions a lift, Phil, won't it?
Yes, it will, and I think you'd have to say they still have some question marks over the confidence. The reason that they were put on the backsides and embarrassed last week, and they were 12 points to 0 down here. Things haven't quite gone their way, so I think they've lost their air of vulnerability now. There's certainly people know that you can beat Leeds, you can take them on, and you can beat them.
Well, they will come into this match, the Rhinos, knowing that the Wildcats have lost the last 4 and 5 of the last 6. Their only win in the sequence was a 19-6 home defeat of Castleford on Good Friday. That's a good kick, though. That's a great kick. Murphy to work, try and move it back, but in first was Chris Clarkson, the back rower at under-20s level. And his debut on the wing against Hull Kingston Rovers. He was in the centre against Wigan.
You just get a sense now that the Rhinos have upped the tempo. They're getting out of the line very, very quickly. You can see there Ryan Bailey leading the way.
It does have a cup-tie feel about it, this game, though, doesn't it? It seems all... I mean, this is my first venture outside. I've been in the studio since about 11 o'clock this morning. But it seems to me that this is being played at a much quicker pace than a few of the others.
The tempo is far greater. Disappointment from those 2 top 8 sides in the first 2 games. Didn't really come and start the game as they should have done. Warrington far, far too good for Salford. This one looks like it's going to be a real competition.
And I've little doubt in my mind that John Keir, the Wakefield coach, would have mentioned that top sides in the first 2 games got brushed away with some fantastic football.
Well, there is John Keir, who of course knows what it's like to beat Leeds on the big occasion. He did so with Hull in that Challenge Cup final I mentioned, and he was actually the assistant coach to Wigan when they won the cup here on this very ground. So Murrayfield's been quite kind to John Keir. Leeds, though, looking to try and get through this pretty solid Wakefield defence.
And that's why John Keir will feel that he's confident that they can come up with a win today. But they've got to make sure the defence...
Wonderful break from Kirk. He's got Ryan Hall. And here is Brent Webb. And the champions fighting back. 2 tries in quick succession for the champions. And Brent Webb crowns his comeback. He has missed the last 3. Or rather, he's missed last week. St Helens, his second absence of the year. He got 2 tries the week before that at Hull. The New Zealand international, the Leeds fans on their feet. Brent Webb's 4th try of the campaign. And he knows what it's like to score at this event, as you can see.
And a pretty good try as well. Beautiful play by Kirk. He's got that ability, hasn't he, to be able to get round the would-be tackler and then offload. And that's what every fullback should be doing, trailing back on the inside. But the pass from Kirk to Ryan Hall was outstanding. I'm not so sure he picked up an injury here, Brent Webb.
When Leeds have been in trouble in the last 5 years, they've done one thing consistently. That's go to the left-hand side, because whether it be Keith Senior or the men inside or outside of him, they've come up with points. Twice in this game here now, in the last few minutes, they've shifted the ball to the left-hand side, and twice it's got them over the line.
I think, Bill, as well, you're absolutely right. What's happened now that Rob Burrow has left the field, Danny Maguire swapped from the right-hand side to come to the left, just to keep banging away at that left edge because they're so powerful. Beautiful ball from Maguire. He got a one-on-one and mismatched the big second row of Kirk against Ben Jeffries, and he walked straight through him.
Yeah, it was typical, and he's making a good habit of this, is the big fella Kirk. He's impressed me this season, but that's great support play, isn't it? Lance tried his damnedest to knock the ball from his grasp. Failed.
Brent Webb's try, it was improved by Kevin Sinfield. It's 10-12 suddenly. Leeds very much back in the contest. And Luke Burgess is out there for the champions. There he is, his first touch as a replacement for Ryan Bailey. Leeds with a tremendous record against Wakefield over the years. They've won 24 of 28 Super League meetings since 1999. 3 of those Wakefield 4 wins have come at Headingley. And Leeds have topped 40 points in 7 of those 24 wins. But they were given a real shock early here, weren't they, by Wakefield? They went into that 12-0 lead. They have clawed their way back into the game, though, now, the Rhinos. And here goes Badiris again. Last tackle here for Leeds. Sinfield in at dummy half. Will hoist the kick high. And diagonal across field. But that's easy for Murphy. Diffused behind his own goal line. It's a tap restart. The referee wants a controlled restart. Now they can get going.
Well, full credit to the Rhinos, they had to dig deep, losing the talented little halfback Rob Burrow, but I must say, the combination of having Keith Senior on the left-hand side, along with the long striding second row Ian Kirk, they're putting a lot of pressure on Wakefield down their right-hand side in defence, and of course that's where Ben Jeffries parks himself. There's the problem with Rob.
Yes, Rob Burrow cutting a disconsolate little figure on the bench. But Wakefield with Jeffries looking for more. Sean Gleeson inside Kirk. Eventually cut down on tackle number 4. Good job that Badiris was there. Here's Jeffries again. Jeffries with a little dink down the line behind Ryan Hall.
Tremendous play by the winger Hall. Anticipated coming down that short side, got himself back very, very quickly indeed. Now then, can they get their defence sorted out?
Expansive play from Leeds near their own line. That's good defence from Luke George. He's over the line.
Tremendous stuff.
That really is first-class defence, because when they were in this corner on the other side of the field, Wakefield compressed in to about 50%. Leeds read it, shifted the ball, they slid across with a purpose, and they pushed them into touch. It doesn't get much better than that.
No, it's a perfect slide in defence, that is for sure.
You know, Wakefield going into a 12-0 lead, they will know, as we all do, having watched the 3 games so far, the team that scored first in this Magic weekend has gone on to win the match, and so far we haven't seen a team come from behind and claim the 2 points. And if Leeds will be able to do that here, but this is some odds. It's a lovely little run.
Beautiful dummy, just darted off his right foot.
No, an untidy play, the ball.
Well,
here is Leo Latu.
I'm not surprised, there was a league player lying all over them. Surely that could have been a penalty.
This is Jeffries, though, now. And a quick play, the ball from him to Paul Johnson. Johnson re-establishes a bit of daylight between the 2 sides. He was on the wing in Wigan's 2002 Challenge Cup final win here against St Helens. Paul Johnson. Now he's in the second row of the pack, the former Great Britain international. Tremendous try. Wakefield taking this game to them.
And it all came about by getting the youngster Clarkson over the whitewash, got themselves into a good position, but this is sloppy play and defensive. Very poor indeed to allow a second rower to dance, run on the angle and then spin around. They were very slow to pick it up. As soon as Burgess started to go for him, Johnson knew as soon as he twisted.
What an important try for Paul Johnson, his first in Wakefield's colours. 5 grand finals for that fellow, a 15-year Super League veteran, 2 wins with Wigan and Bradford. And a very important try here at the Magic Weekend at Murrayfield. Jeffries with the opportunity then to maintain this 100% goal-kicking record he's got so far. And he's done exactly that. Leeds 10, Wakefield 18.
When you take it back to you, look at that. You can't afford to do that. And by the time it's turned away, Johnson's in. They're not talking to each other, that's Leeds defence. And the second row of Paul Johnson took full advantage of that.
13 times he played for his country, Paul Johnson. So, the champions behind by 8 points again. This is Richard Moore for Wakefield.
We're talking coaching about try-line defence, about don't lose your eyes, and that's an example of it. If you turn and show your back, you can't see the play, the ball, you can't read the play, you can't anticipate, you're asking to be run at. And Paul Johnson isn't going to miss an opportunity like that.
And not only that, his fellow players could see that he was out of the position, so they try to get themselves into it, and they're off balance. You pay the price. Well, Sam Hobbs, he couldn't get his head out of the way. Yeah,
right in between Keith Senior's legs. He's only about waist high on Keith Senior anyway. Here he is again. Oh, and that came off Danny Maguire. Now, is he going to be adjudged to have made a play for this? Yes, he is.
Well, Danny Maguire is appealing to the Frenchman, Uncle Alibert. Well, I think he tried to get away from it, but the mere fact that he's moving his feet obviously is convinced...
Well, he's not only that, he has now said something out of turn to Thierry Alibert, and Wakefield have got the penalty.
You know, it has been a problem in the past for Leeds. They seem to go through all this period throughout the season, maybe once or twice, where they lose the cool, they start chatting to the referee instead of concentrating on the job in hand.
Here goes Johnson again. Leo Latu is the man in at dummy half. Wakefield threatening this Leeds line again with Richard Moore. Just held up short. It took 4 men to bring him down. Leo Latu will come down this side. Johnson tries to get it out to Damien Blanche. Another try for Wakefield. Damien Blanche, second try of the match for him. John Keir, the man for the big occasion, and Damien Blanche, the Irish international, and Leeds all at sea in defence, and paying the price for back-chatting the referee, conceding the penalty, conceding 20 metres, and Wakefield take full advantage.
Maguire complained to the official, and the official said, I'm the boss, penalty. Okay, wasn't the best pass, but he flicked away, and Damien Bland says, I'm in at the corner here. Unbelievable there by Murphy. He put the winger in, and they are running riot at the moment.
6 tries in 5 matches now for Damien Blanche. He had a knee reconstruction last year, been out for 11 months, missed the start of this season's come back, and has come up to Murrayfield and has run in 2 tries. Well, the one thing that you can say that is predictable about Super League in 2010 is its sheer unpredictability. Ben Jeffries, most difficult kick of the game so far, and he's just failed with that one. Loses his 100% record, but look at the scoreline. It's Leeds 10, Wakefield 22.
And again, when you get a 2-on-1 there, you can see Ryan Hall has come off it. Blanche all on his own. Maybe a little bit touch fortunate to get that pass away as it dipped to the ground. It could have gone anywhere. Oh, that was good stuff, wasn't it? Gleeson it was that got the fingertip to ensure that Blanche squeezed in at the corner.
Ooh, out on the
it's out
full.
on the
It
full.
is out on the full. Well, Leeds, I'm afraid, are at 6s and 7s.
Well, they appear to have lost the plot, especially with that. He's so reliable normally, isn't he? Kevin Sinfield. And there'll be no rush, Wakefield.
Interesting, they've tapped
The
that.
tap, yeah.
There's a swirling wind. Actually, they're playing with the majority of the wind at their backs in this first half, Wakefield. But it's a very wide field, this. Very wide arena. Difficult
like
for the
a knock
kickers
on
to judge. There's the wind.
Maybe it doesn't help them, though, Eddie, because as the wind...
Swirls around, doesn't
Yeah, but the stand is so high, maybe it doesn't have that much effect. Oh, that's
What a run! What a run from Leo Latu! What a try for Leo Latu! Wakefield are taking Leeds apart. Tavita, Leo Latu, they didn't go for length on the penalty. They took a tap penalty on the halfway line. There was maybe in an earlier tackle the suggestion of a possible knock-on. It wasn't seen by referee or touch judges, and Tavita Leo Latu just went through the middle of the Leeds defence like a hot knife through butter. This is unbelievable. They're 26-10 up and there's a kick to come.
Well, you can't believe it, Eddie, and it all came from the kick-off here, out on the full, put them in that position. I was shocked that they didn't go for the touchline. This fella isn't, but Brian McLennan will be looking at this again and again and again and say this is horror. That was shocking defence. Watch this. Again, can you see the players turning their backs? You can't afford to do that. Luke Burgess it was that turned his back on that occasion, while Leo Latu is all away. That should have been a knock-on. It was not picked up. It was Bibb that couldn't control it. They had the little slice of luck. Jeffries, can he add the 2?
Yes, he can. And it's 28 points to 10 in Wakefield's favour. The hint of a knock-on, perhaps by Kyle Bibb, although it went forward first and then came off his thigh and went backwards. It was his own thigh. It wasn't another player. So it went backwards, I suppose, when it hit the deck. So,
oh, that's good play.
Short
Good
kick
play.
off by Sinfield. Quick thinking from the Leeds captain.
John Kidd will be furious about that, though.
We've got a little snapshot of Brian McLennan as this game is just about to be restarted. He looks a worried man.
But wasn't that a great sign then from Kevin Sinfield? When it's all going wrong all around you, he goes to kick off, throws in a very, very risky play and comes up with the goods.
Ian Kirk's causing all sorts of problems down this right-hand side of the Wakefield defence. They dealt with the threat then, thanks to Paul Johnson. There's Diskin. This is Webb. Short ball from him. It's Burgess. Offside. Offside underneath the sticks. 2 feet, says the referee, behind the line. That's why Wakefield have been pinged. Here goes Luke Ambler. And Luke Ambler forced back into the field of play. The posts are swaying after he collided with them.
Only seconds remaining. They really do need a fillip. They've got to get a try if they can, but that's pretty solid defence.
Look at the way that Wakefield are defending.
Not only that, Richard Moore way out on that left-hand side, and that's great from Moore yet again. That's enthusiasm.
Here now is Maguire. He'll go to the line, but he is cut down in the tackle by Paul Johnson. 2 tackles remaining. Webb gets it away to Senior. Senior to Ryan Hall. They're in again, the Rhinos.
Great work.
Ryan Hall, second try of the night for him. The hooter sounds in the background for the end of the first half. We'll have to have the conversion, of course, from Kevin Sinfield. Ryan Hall injured in the act of scoring that try. Up to 9 now for 2010. There's a problem there for him. There's a problem for Brian McLennan and Leeds, but at least they will take that Ryan Hall try into the dressing room with them at half-time, and there's something to build on for the champions in the second half.
fully deserved. And it all came about from that little kick-off, didn't it, from Sinfield? Went over the 10-yard line. Good service from Senior and Ryan Hall. And the time was up. The 40 minutes had been played, but Ryan Hall has maybe just given the Rhinos a little bit of encouragement for the second half, though it looks as though he's picked up an injury.
Yes, it was bravery from Hall above and beyond the call of duty. He went low and he was clattered after the ball was put down. Purely accidental, as the Wakefield defence desperately tried to keep him out. Sinfield then to add this conversion if he can, a vital kick. Oh, he's good, isn't he? Kevin Sinfield is good. And this is a great game. Leeds 16, Wakefield 28 at half-time. They were 12-0 up for Wakefield after 13 minutes. Then Leeds got back into the contest, 12-10. Then 3 Wakefield tries in 5 minutes. Johnson, Blanche and Leo Latu, and Hall right on the stroke of half-time. And the